And now our final big old discussion here. MCU's next big event is already being planned according to Kevin Feige. So this is from the man himself. Like, he's like, oh no, we're already planting the pieces in there. It's coming.
Well, come on, look at the next movie.
Yeah.
Like, or at least, like, we've got a couple of prequel ones, but look at Doctor Strange. Like, he's gonna have the multiverse, and that's gonna be a huge step forward. And obviously there's a reason why they put Eternals where it is. There's a reason why they're kind of making Black Widow a very different movie than what we anticipated.
I think what you're saying is there's a reason everything is placed where it's placed.
Yeah.
Like, clearly we know at some point Thunderbolts or some version of that is happening. Clearly Black Widow setting up the pieces. Eternals, obviously. The TV shows make sense. Then you look at some of the darker stuff happening with Marvel, Blade, Moon Knight. You're like, yeah, okay, the pieces are sort of laying in here now. I've seen some people say, is this Secret Wars? Nope. That's like 10 years away.
I'd say it's too early for that.
Yeah, it's...
Like, Secret Wars, like, we've talked about this prior in the past. That is something that you save for when you're really wanting to cut dry and redo everything back at almost a ground zero.
When you're wanting to, once again, make close to $3 billion, that's when you do Secret Wars, And like, I mean, hypothetically, 10 years from now, Robert Downey Jr. will probably not have a franchise that's as big as Iron Man. I don't think that's going to happen. So if 10 years from now, if you do Secret Wars, Robert Downey's price has probably went down. And if you're like, you know what, we want a multiverse you in here for Secret Wars, because that's what Secret Wars can do, you could bring it back for less. And can you imagine the box office if you say, oh, the last 10 years we built up, they're all in there. But remember the first 10 years, all those guys are back as well. Like, you can kind of see the pieces.
See, that's the thing. Do you do it that way, or do you do it as a way to bring in and like recast Iron Man?
I think both, honestly. Like, I kind of like they wanted to. Okay, not like they. Kind of like Matthew Vaughn wanted to do with Days of Future Past before Singer diddled his way back in, because he was going to have Hugh Jackman, and then a younger Wolverine played by Tom Hardy. And
so, would you do that in the same movie, or would you do it like you have the old RDJ in one movie and then you introduce a new one in the next? Because if you introduce them at the same time, or you reintroduce RDJ and then a new one, you're gonna kind of overshadow your new one. And
yeah,
I feel like that when it comes to Secret Wars, it's gonna be such a large movie. It'll be a 3-parter. It will be like a legitimate 3-part
where
movie.
I was heading with that same mindset, but I'm thinking they're probably gonna devote like a year to something called Secret Wars Phase, and I feel like they're going to drop like 4 shows and 3 or 4 movies in 1 year, and the final one...
So you literally have the Battle World tie.
It's literally a Battle World style. It's like, no, you watch everything because this thing is grand. It's like, oh man, like... Because I think Marvel Studios is legit getting to that point in like 2020...
I mean, we're here now.
Right.
The shows, like...
By 2022, we're going to be full on in that. It's like, oh man, every week we're talking about something, there's something happening, there's multiple shows tying in. It's like... 10 years from now, that's feasible. And the way I look at it is the next event, whatever that is, it has to be something that sort of unites everything they're planning, but also builds up to something that can't be like Avengers Endgame. It's got to be like Avengers 1 level threat, if that. So what do you think they do? Like, what's the realistic approach here?
Dark Avengers.
You think that's going to be it? Like, that's... Yeah?
Or at least the next Avengers movie will be Dark Avengers, I reckon. It makes too much sense to where everything is now.
Right.
You could almost sit there and have it be the Kree correctly. Like, mind you, we've seen the Kree multiple times. And if Captain Marvel has truly ticked them off to the point that they're finally... she destroyed Ronan, Thanos is gone... What else are they going to be able to do? So they actually want to have a full-out war against...
Like the Kree sort of attack Earth and they all got to unite. I mean, you could feasibly do that.
You can also have
that sounds like an Ultimates movie.
It does, actually. Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Because then you can also have the Skrull in there, and then that can start phasing the Skrull's factions and starting to bring you into Secret Wars.
Well, not even that. Let's be real about this. Once you have New Avengers or wherever the movie is, you're going to have X-Men running probably on the off year, like the X-Men movie.
Yep.
There's no way they don't make Avengers versus X-Men and print unlimited money, because that is
true.
a selling brand. So it's like, that's also got to be something that's set up.
That's got to be so far away. You need to set up the X-Men in that.
Yeah, you need at least 2 X-Men movies before you do Avengers versus X-Men.
At least 2 X-Men trilogies before you do that movie.
Oh, Jesus. See,
The amount of X-Men you need and things to set up in it. Like, you have to have the Phoenix Force if you're going to do it properly.
Look, you say that, and I'm getting flashbacks to, like, Night Terrors right now, okay? Like,
Yeah.
Can we not do the Phoenix Force? Like,
I mean, if you say AVX, then, you know, that's kind of a big part of that event.
we'll just ignore that part.
You know, maybe you could, like, merge the Dark Phoenix saga with AVX,
Can
since
we
it kind
not
of
have
follows.
everybody go in a circle, sing Kumbaya, and defeat her? Can we not do that?
I mean, that's what happens in AVX.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying let's not do that.
No, I think you're kind of right, though. Like, you could unite Dark Phoenix Saga into Phoenix Force and make it so the Phoenix embodies, like, maybe a whole team. And it's like, oh.
So, like, you have the Phoenix 5, but it's led by Jean Grey, not led by Scott.
Yeah, that
and
could
then
work.
you can have, like, the trial of Jean Grey afterwards.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, that could work. Yeah, so I don't know what the hell this next big event could be, because, like, maybe Dark Avengers, maybe something. Like, I have no idea who the hell. It's kind of hard to pinpoint this one specifically, because, like, after the first Avengers, most people were like, okay, we know where they're going with the long run with Thanos and the stones. It's clear we got to be the Infinity Gauntlet. Nobody saw Age of Ultron coming, because that's why it was so shocking. Like, it was like a stopgap. So I feel like the next one is kind of like Ultron, where maybe we're not.
I say, well, that's the
expecting
thing. Like, we're at the point now. You're trying to guess what they're going to do in Avengers from Iron Man 1.
Yep.
Like, we're in that sort of a point. You would never guess they would do Infinity War from, like, 2008 onwards.
Exactly.
So, but I feel like where everything is, we haven't got an Avengers movie even announced. They're obviously going to make one, but, like, there's no core Avengers team. We don't know what's going on there. They have to kind of reset it up, and doing a Dark Avengers is not only relevant to what's going on right now, it's kind of, it's a good way to introduce a new team of them.
So what do you think then? Possibly after Black Widow comes out, that's when we'll actually get an announcement of when or what the big next event is. Because if it is true
that's way too soon.
if it's true that Black Widow's movie is potentially giving us Thunderbolts.
That's definitely a setup for that, or the Dark Avengers. So
yeah, so if that's going to be one of those kinds of films that do that, would it be then after that movie that we start putting in the seeds more and announcing, or at least showing a symbol?
So here's the thing. Before Black Widow was announced, was it at D23 or San Diego? Where was it announced?
I think San Diego.
San Diego.
So we knew that Black Widow already finished shooting, and they did not confirm its existence, because let's be real, we know, but the general populace did not know until the trailer hit. So to them, it's kind of pointless to announce something like that yet. I think realistically, you're probably waiting 2 years till they announce the next Avengers film. Like, I feel like San Diego.
Well, to be
next
fair,
year,
they could wait till after Eternals, and we could go a completely different route and have like Avengers, like the 5th host or something like that.
Yeah.
And you use the Celestials as a way to bring everything together.
You could, yeah.
And then, Feige said that the Eternals know about the Avengers, but the Avengers don't know about the Eternals.
Right.
And that would be a good way to kind of endgame it, but not on a smaller scale, because the Celestials are a far bigger threat than Thanos ever was. But, introduced, it's how the Avengers and Guardians crossed over. You have the threat that brings those two sides together, and you do it that way. And then,
that's true.
And that's how you get Black Knight, Cersei, maybe Monica Rambeau on the team, because one vision, and do it that way.
No, that's true, yeah. No, I think that'd be a good way, and also establish the Celestials as these big actual, because Eternals is going to obviously do it, but then I assume the Eternals won't have as much trouble with Celestials as the Avengers will, so it's like...
Well, I can't imagine the Celestials are going to fight the Eternals in that movie, because I can't see how you'd fit that in.
That is true, yeah, because they're establishing the whole early days of...
But if you have them fight then, the Eternals will have to win at that point.
They do.
I think it's kind of semi-confirmed we're going to see the Unimind in Eternals, because they've said something about like the footage they've shown, they're all like standing there and they started floating, which kind of says Unimind. But you know, you can't have the Celestials get beaten by them and then have them in an Avengers movie,
right? Because it makes them redundant. Because it's like,
yeah.
oh, well, these guys can just fly in and murder them.
Exactly. Like, you kind of like Thanos it, where it's like, oh, here they are in Eternals, and then there they go. But now they're back, and
what's going to happen is we're going to see the Eternals all defeated, and then like Zordon, they're going to stand in a circle and pray, and instead of Zordon, it's Galactus that rises.
Yes, that's not too far off what the Unimind actually is, anyway.
I remember it briefly, but it's like, I'm blanking because obviously the cosmic side of Marvel Comics, I'm not the biggest fan
I was going to say, just take out a dying person and just the whole standing in a circle thing. It's essentially the same thing, and then a giant like,
so
omnipotent being
the
appears.
Care Bear stare?
We'll take it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. It's a lot better than it sounds. But...
yeah.
Think of a giant floating brain. That's kind of what the mind is.
You're not helping the case by saying a giant floating brain.
Now I'm thinking
and
Futurama.
Kind of like the Care Bear stare. Like, this is not sounding cool to Marin.
This is going to be the greatest thing ever.
Oh, man.
It will be.
So... yeah, that's it for that. You know, we'll know more. I'm assuming after Eternals, that's definitely when they'll make more announcements. Before that, you don't want to take the thunder off of everything you've announced already. They've done that before, and it did not help. So
unless they do it with Phase 3, and you know, we didn't hear anything until that phase ended.
True, exactly. Oof, that'd be.
We could possibly be at that part.
Please no,
because look at how much they've already announced, and they can just sit there and only announce dates. And we'll all be sitting here, like, jumping for joy because we're like, oh, what's to come?
I can't go through another cycle of Eternals to the King dead, okay? I can't. I can't.
This thing, like, we haven't got an Avengers movie announced, so do we know all of Phase 4?
Maybe it ends the phase. That'd be, like, insane and ballsy.
I'd say, like, until he says Phase 5, I don't believe Phase 4 has been fully announced.
Same.
The fact, though, that Blade seems like he's the first Phase 5, so why are they in the process of announcing 2 phases at once without giving us a complete phase rundown?
A Blade is the oddball. He has no release date, but he has a lead actor. What?
But his thing, Feige never said Blade's Phase 5.
But he also said not Phase 4.
Yeah, he just kind of put
it off.
Did he say not Phase 4? Well, he said when he announced Phase 4 was everything they announced, then he's like, oh, and we're also working on Blade. Here's the actor.
He said at San Diego that was all Phase 4, but then he promptly went to D23 and went, here's 3 shows that are in Phase 4. I don't see why Blade would be Phase 5 if he's still announcing Phase 4 stuff. That feels very Age of Ultron, and then here's Infinity War Part 1 and 2. Like, here's this stuff, but that's further down the line. Like, it seems a bit weird.
I just think they're having trouble placing a correct date for Blade. Honestly, I think that's what it is. Like, no, there's rarely ever a movie that has a lead actor without even an inkling of a script writer. Like, that's insane. But they're like, no, he wanted to be Blade. We gave him the Blade contract, but we have no idea what we're doing with him.
So it looks like CNN Entertainment says, based on what they understand, it is a Phase 4.
Makes sense.
But we still have, like, nothing actually
confirmed.
Well,
look, we're at the point. Remember when Inhumans was Phase 3? You know, things
when they're doing Inhumans.
Yeah, exactly. So
when was it? I missed it.
So there we go, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed our next big event. Thank you for taking the time to watch that video. If you guys would like more content that we offer here for channel members, which you guys can check out in the little join button down below, we do offer additional content, such as exclusive podcasts and topic discussions, our gaming podcast, Star Wars TV series reviews, Marvel show reviews, DC Universe and CW reviews. We offer personal vlogs, backlog reviews of TV shows and movies, video game topics, and Q&As. And of course, in one of our best tiers, we offer audio commentaries on TV shows and movies, along with a bunch of other stuff you guys can check out just by clicking that join button and seeing what is on offer.